Hey guys, welcome back to Out of the Park Baseball 22 with the Detroit Tigers. If you remember correctly, we ended last episode on July 1st. So this episode is going to be very heavy on the transactions as we have the international free agent signing, we've got the draft, and we have the trade deadline. So this episode will probably only take us to the end of July. We'll see how long we've been going when we get to that point and then make the decision there. But it's been a difficult year for us, really. 29-47. Some of our offseason acquisitions are performing well, but the team still isn't. Carlos Correa, 278, 7 home runs, 31 runs knocked in. It's good for 1.4 WAR, just below average with the bat, but putting up a 750 OPS. James Paxton was hurt for a little bit. He's made 13 starts. He's 2-5, but with a 3.83 ERA plus 124, WHIP 1.25. So he's pitching pretty well. Jimmy Nelson 6-6 with a 3.46 ERA, 137 ERA plus. He's pitching well as well. But none of these players are in our long-term plans, and I signed them with the hope that either we would surprise this season or we could move them closer to the trade deadline for some younger help. And that's sort of the path we are currently on. Roberto Ramos is really the one free agent signing who hasn't performed, hitting just 207 with 10 home runs. He struck out 67 times. His ratings look better than that, so it's a bit surprising. So let's get right to the international amateurs. And I took a look at this earlier, but obviously didn't make. I do have money for this, right? Like I haven't even looked at that. Where am I going here? Yeah, we do. Okay. It comes down. There are a couple players. The best pitcher is Luis Zarate out of the Netherlands. Ground ball pitcher, 16 years old. OSA likes him just as much as us. Looks like a hard worker, which is good. And then there are a couple of bats. Angelo Estrada out of Venezuela. Really, really good gap power and above average everything else. We got a catcher who's got a close to 90 contact. A couple of outfielders in here that are pretty good. David Pereira and Manny Parata. And then I think, was it this guy? Yeah, one other first baseman who's pretty good. So we have a few options. Do we continue to go heavy with our pitching prospects, or do we try to add a bat? I'm leaning towards the pitching prospect just because, he's only 16 years old, so he could obviously flame out as a 16-year-old pitcher, but already throwing 93 to 95 at age 16. He's 6'8", 205 at 16 years old. He could be bringing it at 100 or more, by the time he's 20, 21 years old. So, high work ethic as well, which is nice. None of these other players really list. Well, you got David Gutierrez, but I don't know. I don't think this is the way to go. So I think it's going to be Luis Zarate. If you guys feel like I should have made a different move, that's $50 million. If you guys think I should have made a different move, let me know. But again, you had a couple other options. Angel Estrada is probably the best bat. Sergio Flores looks like he could be a high level shortstop, although he's a couple years older. Gutierrez was the catcher, and then Pereira and Parata. So that's where we're going to make a move in terms of the internationals. And let's quickly look at let's shop some players and look at some value. I am going to spend some time offline looking for deals as well, because I don't want to just sit here and have this be a shop player fest for the next month. As you can see, we're not getting a lot of great offers for James Paxton. Yusniel Diaz isn't terrible. TJ Antone, he's not bad, but again, we need more hitting prospects than we do. I guess you can never have too many pitching prospects, but I would prefer some younger hitters. It's just, where we are the weakest, really, at this point. Jaron Kendall, good glove, can't really hit. My Michael King with the Yankees. Jock Peterson. Yeah, not a whole lot there. The Padres look like they're willing to give up some decent talent, but again, nothing great. Mariners willing to give up a 25-year-old who's not very good. Jordan Hicks. Again, we don't really need the pitching, though. We need the hitting more than anything else. Reese McGuire. I mean, I like Reese McGuire, but it's really the one position that, I would say we're content with. Although, whoa. Sanchez dropped to 2 stars. Jake Rogers is only 2 stars. I don't know. Maybe. So that's all we can get for Paxton. I don't think Buxton was. I don't think anybody was. I don't think we were getting any offers at all for Buxton. I get a couple, but nothing terrific. Although Michael Baez isn't bad. But not for... Oh, Kyle Lewis. That's a shame. Kyle Lewis, usually his ratings are a whole lot better than that. Oof, that's a rough season. And then the third one was Correa. Just take a quick look. So I'll probably sim ahead to the draft, and we'll do the draft, and then I'll do some sort of hunting offline to see what I can find in terms of trade value and see if we can make a deal with somebody and improve our team. See, a couple of good options for Correa. I like Jarren Duran. He's he usually translates into a decent player. High gap power, good defense, some stolen base potential. So he's not a bad player. Bryce Hoskins, good power bat, but a little bit too old for my liking. Bryson Brigman, good contact. He's hitting over 300 in AAA. A couple of offers from the Dodgers, Junior Fernandez and Radiel Martinez. Again, nothing great, although the Duran trade at least has my interest peaked. All right, it is draft time. We are 34 and 51, so pretty decent stretch leading up to the draft. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 4. So for us, 5 and 4 in our last 9. I'll take it. We have the... What was I just looking at? We have the top prospect system in Major League Baseball right now. Spencer Torkelson is 3rd. Still struggling with the bat this year. Marcelo Meyer is 9th. We moved him up to AA at the end of last episode. He's gotten off to a hot start there. Luis Zarate, who was our international free agent signing just a second ago, is number 11 overall. And then Matt Manning is number 30. I mean, he's struggling as well. But, yeah, so we are currently in last place still. Haven't made any deals as of yet, but that will probably come here after the draft. Speaking of draft, let's get to it. And we have the first pick in said draft, and it was it's a tough decision to make as there were a couple of really elite bats as well as a decent pitcher. Yeah, we'll look at the pitchers first. I don't think that's the route we're going to go, but Joe Paxton is extreme ground ball, wants $9 million a year. I mean, he looks absolutely elite. But for us, it's going to be a bat. And do we go Green, who looks to be better defensively? So it was Green versus Gomez. So if we let's compare Compare. Can we look at... Oh, it's all here. Right. Okay. So we got our two players. We have Willis Gomez and Elijah Green. Long-term, Green looks to be the better hitter. Better contact, better gap power. Green looks like he's going to hit for more power. And Gomez is going to have the better eye. So he's just, overall, he's going to be a better hitter. Green's going to be better power hitter. Base running, it looks like Green is the better player significantly. And then defensively, yeah, it looks like Green's going to be the better player, is again significantly better. So, oh man, I don't know what to do. Willis Gomez looks like he's going to be such an amazing hitter. Elijah Green looks like he'll be, I don't want to say passable. He'll hit for a decent enough average, and he looks like he could hit a ton of home runs, but Gomez looks like the kind of player that you can build a lineup around. And this doesn't help because it's exactly the same. I really don't know what to do. I really, really, really don't know what to do. OSA likes Green a little bit more. Green wants 9.5. Gomez wants 9. The scout thinks we should take Green. Elite menace, dangerous speed, considerable ceiling, plus power potential, gloves so smooth, people should flock to see his fielding drills. Willis Gomez, exceptional at making contact, he'll challenge for a batting crown, above average power, great reliable hitter. All right, I'm going to go Elijah Green. I'm going to take Elijah Green just because he's better at all of the other stuff. Gomez is going to hit for a higher average. He's going to be a better bat, I think, but Green is so good at everything else. I think Green is the right call. All right, I made the pick. So you guys tell me if you think that was the right pick or not. I got some mixed answers on the last video. I had some people telling me to take Gomez, some people telling me to take Green. I took Green. We'll see how that works out. So let's just go a couple of picks here. So Joe Paxton went to the Rockies. Tamar Johnson went to the Rangers. Tim Groh went to the Cubs. Gomez went to the Red Sox. Okay. All right, well, let's pick until our next pick and see what's left. Who do they think we should take? Tristan Smith, a 19-year-old starting pitcher. He's pretty good. How much do we have for draft money? $12 million. So our top pick wanted 9, which means we're not going to be able to go over slot, I don't think, with our next pick. Slot is 1.7, and he wanted 4.5, something like that. Oh, he wanted 7. Okay, yeah, we can't do that. Brannon Jordan, senior, goes to the University of South Carolina, fly ball pitcher. But he's already 23, and that movement and control is really low. I don't like that. Usually if you're going to take someone who's older, you want those skills to be a little more developed. Let's look at our bats. Gage Harrelson, low contact, but good pretty much everywhere else. Good gap power, good home run power, good eye. Very good defensively already. Good speed. So he's not going to hit for a high average, but could have a potentially high on-base / slugging. Let's see if we've got any pitchers that are actually hitters. Yeah, like Tim Diaz. But I'm not going to take him now. John Hale, no. Pat Fielder, no. I think it's going to be Gage Harrelson. Yep. Gage Harrelson is going to be our second pick. Let's go back to pitchers and see if we've got, most of the pitchers are gone at this point, which was to be expected, but that's fine. They want us to take Nate Nunez. Good, decent power, average contact and gap power, good avoid Ks. Can't really play third base, but he is only 18. Got a good arm. Maybe turn him into an outfielder. Let's go back here. I think Tim Diaz is probably a good pick here. And we can turn him into a... Doesn't have really good range, good error, good arm, good... So he could be a first or third baseman. He doesn't need great range as a third baseman, but he's got good error, good arm, good turn DP. So yeah, Tim Diaz. We'll make him and then we'll make him a third baseman. Let's move on. Highest power. John Hale's got a good mix. Josh Castle. I like Josh Castle. Corner outfielder, good power. OSA thinks he's got a little bit more power, but that's fine. We can go Josh Castle. And it's basically a crapshoot at this point, right? There's not a whole lot left here that's all that good. Micah Lyons, I think we'll make a run at him. He looks like he could be a really good middle infielder / kind of backup, style player. Where was he? Yeah, Micah Lyons. Right? Micah Lyons? Yeah. All right, let's move on. Next pick. Let's see what the scout says. Scout says Jamie Arnold. 18 years old, good control. Good numbers in high school. Sure, that works. I mean, it's the 5th round. Or 6th round, rather. Pat Fiedler. Yeah, I'll take Pat Fiedler. I mean, maybe that contact develops over the years. If we're going to do that, let's go after John Hale instead. He's got better eye, better power. Ted Fagan. I think I might be just about done with this draft. Yep. There's not much left. So we're going to go ahead and let the AI draft the rest for us. Let's go in and negotiate. So we want to do this way. So, no, we got to negotiate with him first. Let's give him what he wants. Let's go over here. All right. So Elijah Green was the very first pick in the draft. We will see how he develops. And hopefully we will not be disappointed. So now it is Monday, July 11th. I'm going to go ahead and sim ahead. If I make any deals, I'll come back and go over them. And I'll keep simming ahead. And I'll just kind of bounce back and forth between recording offline and trying to come up with some trades and coming back and showing you what I got. So, yeah, hang tight. And when we come back, it'll either be July 31st and no trades will have been made, or I'll come back and we will have made a move. So, I'll be right back. All right, guys, we are back. It is Sunday, July 31st, 2022, and that took me a long time. I started on Tuesday at around 2 o'clock. It's now Wednesday at 10 in the morning. I spent about 3.5 hours or so going from the whatever date we were on, the 11th of July, to the 31st, looking for the right deals, and that took me a while. So without any further ado, let's take a look and see. And there were quite a few changes, as you can probably see just by looking at our lineups. So let's go, and we'll just... Nothing. I don't say one is any more important than the next, so we'll just start back here on the 20th. I would say the biggest deal is this one we made with Atlanta. We sent Carlos Correa, Kingston Liniak, a 22-year-old center fielder, and a couple of 24-year-old minor leaguers to Atlanta for 23-year-old center fielder Drew Waters and 25-year-old third baseman Austin Riley. So we'll look at the pieces that went away first. First was Gerson Bautista, who we picked up on waivers from Arizona at the end of last offseason, just 2.5-star depth bullpen arm. Gio Arriera, or Arriera, I think. 1.5-star, 24-year-old. He was in high A ball for us, had an ERA of over 9. Kingston Liniak, who was at one time a top prospect, 4th-round pick, but now just a 1.5-star, 2-star potential outfielder in low A ball. And then, obviously, Carlos Correa had hit the ball pretty well for us, 267, 324, 405, OPS plus of 90, 1.5 WAR, had 8 home runs, struck out 87 times in 380 at-bats or 348 at-bats. He was pretty good, but this is what we got him for, to either perform for us or for us to move him. And in return, we pick up Drew Waters, who is a pretty good glove, good speed, decent bat outfielder. He's going to start in Double-A for us right now. You can see he's hitting 297 so far. He's got really good gap power. He could potentially be a starter down the road, but more than likely a backup style outfielder. And then Austin Riley is sort of the main acquisition in this pickup. Good gap power, good home run power, only 25 years old, pretty good third baseman. High work ethic, could potentially end up better than that because of his work ethic. And so far, so good. 12 for his first 32, 2 home runs, 5 RBIs. Good start for us with Austin Riley, 317, 417, 750. Already good for half a WAR in just 8 games. So that was the first deal. Second deal was on the next day with Tampa Bay. We sent a bunch of minor leaguers, Lazaro Benitez, another minor league arm, Jason Foley, and Clarevith Perez to the Rays, getting Vidal Brujan and Ford Proctor. So Benitez, again, 2-star potential outfielder, 22 years old, high A ball, and my headphones are falling apart. I gotta get some new ones. Lazaro Benitez, Jason Foley, decent arm, fly ball pitcher, 3 good pitches, but nothing spectacular, nothing special. And you'll see with one of the other deals that we made that he was deemed expendable. And Cleverith Perez, just a 1-star filler in exchange for Brujan, who is a middle infielder playing second base for us right now. Good defensively, good glove, decent enough with the bat. He's got a good eye. He's not going to hit for a lot of home run power, but he should hit 270, 280 and get on base at a decent clip with that eye and the avoid K. He's 6 for his first 13 with us, so good start there. And Ford Proctor I picked up just because he's such an unusual profile. He's a catcher / shortstop, which I found to be really, really bizarre. Similar hitting profile to Brujan. High contact, good eye, no power, good base runner. But just a catcher shortstop hybrid I found to be interesting. So he's going to start in AAA. Decent start there. He could potentially be a backup catcher down the road / backup middle infielder, which is not something you see every day. So that's the second deal. Proctor and Brujan for some minor leaguers. The third deal was with the Los Angeles Dodgers, and we sent Brian Garcia, retaining 100% of his contract, and Jimmy Nelson. I guess we'll look at Garcia first. Garcia had been in AAA for us after struggling in the majors last season. 0-4, 6.46 ERA last year. Had been okay in AAA this year, but again, he was replaceable with the pieces we got in return. So Brian Garcia and Jimmy Nelson, who had pitched, all things considered, pretty well for us. 8-7, 3.47 ERA. 116 strikeouts, 132 innings, BABIP of 272, ERA plus of 138. He had pitched pretty well, but we weren't going to re-sign him, so we may as well try to get something for him. And in return, we also sent a half-star relief pitcher because they wanted him for Junior Fernandez and Brett DeGois. So Junior Fernandez, they picked up from his history is a little wild. So he was traded by St. Louis to the Nationals for Yan Gomes, and then he was traded 2 days later from the Nationals to the Dodgers for Austin Barnes. So we pick him up, and everybody who plays out of the park baseball knows Junior Fernandez. Potentially really good stuff, good movement, decent control, 3 really good pitches. Question is, can he put it all together? Sometimes he does, sometimes he doesn't. For us, he's going to start in AAA. He's picked up a couple of saves with Toledo already. And Brett DeGois, another bullpen arm. A little bit better than the 2 pieces we sent away. Good stuff, 3 good pitches. Hang on just a second. Okay. And again, he'll start in AAA as well. 3 innings, 3 hits, 3 strikeouts. So a couple of that was our trade to improve our bullpen. Picked up Junior Fernandez and Brett DeGois for Brian Garcia, Jimmy Nelson, and a minor leaguer. The next deal we made was with the Arizona Diamondbacks. We sent Renato Nunez and Jake Rogers to the Diamondbacks, getting Carson Kelly in return. So we traded Nunez, who has had a couple of decent seasons for us, better this year than he was last year. Slugging percentage nearing 500, 827 OPS, 113 OPS plus last year. He was literally average with the bat, but hit 24 home runs. And then Jake Rogers, who's good defensively, pretty good power, but never going to hit for a lot of contact, only hitting 225 this season at 234 the year before that. 27 years old. And in return, we pick up Carson Kelly, who has struggled last year in 2021, but in 2022 has had a pretty good year. 800 OPS, 2.3 WAR, elite level defensively. He's a captain, making a little bit more. He's arbitration eligible, but he probably won't cost a ton with what his stats are. So I feel like we upgraded at the catcher position now with Carson Kelly and Ali Sanchez. So we moved Nunez and Rogers for Carson Kelly. The next deal we made was with the Cincinnati Reds. I told you this was a busy trade deadline. With the Cincinnati Reds, we traded Roberto Ramos, Matt Cantarillo, and Max Short of the Reds for Cleonel Perez and Michael Ciani. So Ramos was our big signing in the offseason. We signed him to a 3-year, $15 million contract, and he just didn't hit. -1 WAR, 63 OPS plus, hit a .197, 12 home runs, struck out 89 times. It just wasn't good, and he's not a good enough defensive first baseman to justify keeping him out there. So Ramos went away, along with Cantarillo, who was another waiver wire acquisition at the end of last season. We picked him up from Minnesota. So turning nothing into something. And then Max Shore, just a 19-year-old 2-star catcher in rookie ball, in exchange for Perez, who's a ground ball pitcher, has got 4 really solid pitches, could be used as a starter in a pinch. His stamina is a little light, but he slots into our bullpen nicely, I think. And then Michael Ciani, who is an elite defensive outfielder, may never hit enough to carry the glove, But if he can hit just league average with the bat, then he becomes a very valuable player. I'm sure we could get him time in left field and get those left fielder ratings up, and we could be looking at an elite defensive backup outfielder there. So he's out for the year, though, with a broken kneecap. So that development's not going to happen this year, but it could happen down the road. So again, Ciani and Cleonel Perez for Roberto Ramos, Matt Cantorio, and Max Short. And then the final deal was with the Colorado Rockies, and this one was a bit of a surprise, but I liked it, so I pulled the trigger. So we sent Isaac Paredes and Ulrich Bojarski to the Colorado Rockies in exchange for Colton Welker. So Paredes had been one of our better hitters. I mean, 748 OPS. His OPS plus was below 100, 1.4 WAR, 6 home runs. Hadn't struck out a ton, 54 strikeouts and 360 at-bats. He was average at third base. Well, I guess he was actually pretty below average at third base. And Bojarski is just, more trade filler because they wanted him. And in exchange, we get Colton Welker. Welker's they're about the same defensively. Welker might be a tad better, but Welker's much better with the bat. That gap power is fantastic. Above average contact, home run power, and avoid K. Especially attractive was his ratings against lefties. I mean, a 91 gap power, 60 contact, 57 power. So he could be a really effective, if nothing else, platoon bat. But I think he could also end up being our starting third baseman. Him and Austin Riley. It will split time between third base and DH and probably first base too. So that was a busy trade deadline. We had to make a couple other roster moves. And let's talk about the players we didn't move. So we didn't move James Paxton. And my thought on that, honestly, was that for $8 million, he's pitched his ratings, a ground ball pitcher. He's pitched really, really well. We may bring him back next season. At $8 million, he's a bargain. I feel like he's just pitched really, really well. And to have that veteran at the top of our rotation with our 4 youngsters, I think has some benefits. And then Byron Buxton, we held on to. He's started to heat up. He's up to 232. He's got 18 home runs, playing fantastic defense. My thought is that if he opts out at the end of the year, that means that he thinks he's going to make more than $19 million a year, which means we can get a compensatory first-round pick for him. If he doesn't opt out, then we have him for $20 million, which is a lot, but not unmanageable, I guess. So, especially since almost nobody in our lineup is making any money at all. So that's why I held on to Buxton and Paxton. We had to call up a couple players with the trades, so we called up Dominic Fletcher. He went 2 for 4 in his first game. He's going to play primarily against righties, but he's serviceable against lefties as well. And then Bryant Packard, we called him up out of nowhere. He had not been hitting all that well in AAA. We called him up, and he's 8 for his first 16. Including a 3 home run game. You see here, our last game on the 30th, he had 3 home runs and 6 runs knocked in. Again, similar player, going to play primarily against righties, but is serviceable against lefties. Let's take a look at our team stats. So Austin Riley, Carson Kelly come in, immediately have the 2 highest WARs on the team. We showed you their stats already. Riley's hitting well. Kelly's struggling a bit, 1 for his first 12. Buxton, 1.6 WAR. Ali Sanchez is at 0.8 WAR, but I think a lot of that is defense related. Victor Reyes having a pretty decent season for us, playing more than I anticipated he was going to, but he's playing pretty well for us. Decent with the bat, good with the glove. Packard. I thought about moving Willie Castro, and I may end up moving him in the offseason, but I kept him because I don't really have anybody else to play shortstop right now. I need that to develop. I can't have a 287 on-base percentage in my lineup, so especially in the leadoff spot, so that's got to get better. Talked about Brujan, talked about Welker, talked about Fletcher. Nick Gordon's not really hitting, but again, good backup middle infielder to have. Spencer Torkelson starting to hit a little bit. He's up to 202, up to 14 home runs. And Mick Rodolfo has just had a lost season. 134, 217, 247. He's good for -2 WAR on the year. Pitching, Casey Mize coming along really nicely. 8-12 with a 3.67 ERA. 3.8 K to walk ratio, 130 ERA plus. Paxton, we talked about, 133 ERA plus. Tariq Skubal, it's 5-13. He's struggling a bit. 4.96 ERA. 10 strikeouts per 9, though. So he's just walking too many batters. Well, I guess no. I mean, he's okay. His BABIP is just crazy high at 335. So hopefully that can regress to the mean here a little bit. Then you got a bunch of bullpen arms: Lang, Lothar, Vest, Delplane, Pop, Foster, Perez, and Hess. Pop, 12 saves, 1.75 ERA so far since he's been back from injury. Joey Wentz, we called him up after we traded Nelson. Struggled in his first start. He's getting another start here today. And then Matt Manning is having a difficult first year back from injury. Hopefully he can pick things up as we kind of move down the stretch. We had our best month of the year by far, 14-11 in July. So we are 43-58, which is still good for last place. It is the, 1, 2, 3. We have the 4th worst record in the majors right now. Our top prospect, where is he? Elijah Green, 391, 451, 609 through 12 games in rookie ball. He'll stay there the rest of the season. And hopefully things continue to go well for him there. So let's just sim through this game on the 31st, and we'll call it an episode. See how Wentz does. As the game has to load through the rest of the month. You can see Marcelo Meyer. Oh, and we fired are going to fire our assistant GM, and we're going to bring in Theo Epstein. Theo. Okay, we crashed. Sorry about that. So yeah, we are going to bring in Theo Epstein. His ratings just more align with our pitching staff or our staff roles. If I remember correctly, he was easygoing and got along with personable players. So he should slot. Oh, right there. Personable. Works well with normal. We've got 3 normal, and he struggles with easygoing, of which we only have 1. So he slots in there nicely, I think. So we won 6-4. Let's just look at the box score really quickly. Reyes 2 for 5. Torkelson had 2 hits, which is nice to see. Packard with 2 more hits and another home run. He's been a revelation here so far. Wentz went 8 innings, gave up 4 runs, struck out 9. Good start there for Joey Wentz. So we ended up, 15-11? 15-11 that month. So good month for us. Marcelo Meyer is hitting the ball well in AA, 293, 43, 76. He'll stay in AA for the rest of the season. Probably start there next year as well, as he is only 19 years old. So when we come back, we'll probably do the end of the season and off season, which means I'll be doing a bit of simming here in the meantime. So yeah, guys, as I completely jack up my outro here. So yeah, let me know your thoughts on the deals I made. I think I did okay. You know, it's really, really hard to pry legit prospects from some of these teams. So I think we did okay. I think we did okay with our return, especially offensively, picking up Austin Riley, picking up Colton Welker, picking up Siani. I think those are some really good additions to the team. I think Carson Kelly could be a solid addition as well with his glove and his leadership skills and stuff. So, so that's going to do it for this episode. Let me know your thoughts, guys, and we'll talk to everybody soon. Thanks. Bye-bye.